Good day. Welcome again to another lesson that will give you knowledge and identification on how to control hazards and risks. Once again, I am your subject teacher, Mrs. Lorena R. de Guzman, in collaboration with Ms. Rose Madel G. de Pusoy. So for you to get along with our lesson for this week, open your book on page 85 to 87. So for this week lesson, we are going to tackle about hazards and risks identification and control. Okay, the following are some of the common hazards and risks in hotels and lodging establishments. Okay, so the first one is the electrical hazards. Okay, electrical hazard, business buildings have a lot of installed electrical and electronic wirings. They are highly needed to provide quality service to guests. Tools and equipment such as computer set, telephone, and fax machine are for the office uses, and refrigerator, freezer, coffee maker, blender, and oven are for kitchen use. The hotel staff should be careful in using this equipment with utmost care and caution to avoid the danger of electrocution. Okay, an electrical hazard may come from one or first is defective tools and equipment. All tools, equipment, and appliances used in the workstation should pass quality control standards. Okay? And defective electrical equipment can easily overheat and could pose threats of accidental. Okay, the following are some of the common hazards and risks in hotels and lodging establishment. Okay, so the first one is the electrical hazard. Okay, defective tools and equipment. All tools, equipment, and appliances used in the workstation should pass quality control standards. Okay, defective electrical equipment can easily overheat and could pose threats of accidental fires. So kung mapapansin nyo, kapag tayo ay bibili ng mga equipment, meron silang sticker na nakadikit dun sa mga appliances na nagsasabing nakadaan ito sa quality control. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, safe yung appliances na nabili natin. So, kung bibili kayo ng mga appliances, siguraduhin nyo nang yung bibilhin nyo ay kahit na sabihin nating mahal, sure naman tayo na hindi agad ito masisira or hindi agad mag-overheat. Okay? So, that is defective tools and equipment. So, second one is faulty electrical wiring. Improper electrical wiring is one of the common risks in any establishments. Okay? So, wiring safety regulation are implemented by the local government unit and Bureau of Fire Protection or BFP to reduce this type of hazard. Okay, regular checkup and monitoring of electrical wirings in all equipment and appliances should be observed. So that is why kapag tayo ay magpapagawa ng building at magkakaroon tayo ng ikakabit na yung ating mga electrical wiring, make sure na yung magkakabit ay licensed. Okay? So kapag doon, sigurado tayo na magiging safe yung ating mga electrical wiring. Dapat licensed na yung ating kukuhanin para magkabit ng mga kuryente doon sa ating building. Okay? Overload circuit. This happens when a circuit is allowed to carry more electrical current than what it can accommodate, which may cause fire. Okay? So, hindi ibig sabihin nakabili ka na ng halimbawa ng extension, bumili ka sa Unitap or sa mga Taiwanese building or mga bilihan ng mga electronics. So, hindi tayo pwedeng basta-basta lang tayo bumibili ng mga extension kung saan-saan. Kasi dapat sigurado tayo at dapat appropriate yung sukat ng wire dun sa ating gagamitan ng paggagamitan. Kasi meron tayong iba't ibang, we do have different measurements of wires for different appliances. Kapag mas malaking appliances, ibig sabihin, meron siyang mas malaking size ng wire na kailangan. Okay, so kapag nag-overload, ibig sabihin, tatlong saksakan, isinaksak mo lahat ng sabay-sabay, maliit lang yung wire ng ating extension and then mga appliances ang ginagamit natin, maaaring magkaroon ng overload circuit na magiging dahilan ng pagsabog or maaaring magkaroon ng sunog. Okay, worn out wire. This happens when the cord of any electrical appliance or equipment wears out and bears the inside electrical cables. It may be due to the damage caused by pests. Okay? So, meaning, this kind of electrical wire ay natanggal na yung insulation or natanggal na yung balot ng kuryente. Diba? Kung mapapansin nyo, mostly ang kuryente natin or cable natin is kulay black. So, yung black na yun, yun yung nakabalot mismo dun sa wire or sa wiring. So, once natanggal yun, at lumabas na yung ating mga electrical wires, ibig sabihin, maaari na itong mag-cause ng sunog. So, bakit po nagkakaroon ng wear out or na worn out wire? Ibig sabihin, maaari siyang nakain ng daga or nangat-ngat ng daga. So, lumuwa na yung mga kuryente dun sa loob or yung wire sa loob. So, maaaring maging dahilan ito ng pagkasunog. So, make sure lagi natin i-check yung ating mga cables. Baka ito ay nakain na ng daga or nangat-ngat ng daga. So, from that, kailangan na natin siyang palitan or ayusin, balutan ng electrical tape. Okay, so that is electrical hazards. Next, chemical hazards. Common cleaning products like paints, fuels, and other flammable materials contain hazardous chemicals that this can lead to skin and respiratory disorders, poisoning, or even death when inhaled or digested. Okay, combustibles and cleaning and sanitation materials are two common classifications of this hazard, which can greatly affect the human health of individuals. Proper education and information and effective use of protective clothing and equipment are the best ways to minimize this type of hazards. That is why we do have different kind of PPE or the personal protective equipment to be used in this kind of hazard. So what are the different kinds of PPEs that can be used if we encounter like chemical hazards? So we can use gloves. Okay, so we can use overall, shirt or coverall. We can use eye protected shield, of course, para hindi matalsikan yung ating mata. We can use jackets if we don't have a coverall shirts. So we can use jackets, okay? Face mask or a kind of mask or a specific mask that can be used for chemical hazards. So from that, we can protect our body from chemical hazards. Okay. So, as we tackled it last meeting, that chemical hazard in a lodging establishment, chemical hazard or entering of chemicals, different toxic substances are limited only. Okay, even if the lodging establishment is for private or pinag-aari o pag-aari ito ng private employers, hindi natin siya or hindi tayo allowable or hindi sila allowable magpasok ng different kinds of chemicals. Okay, limited lang or limited numbers only ang pwedeng ipasok na chemical sa loob ng lodging establishment. So, for the guests and the staff to be protected from chemical hazards. Okay, next is the biological hazards or biohazards. Okay, biological hazards or biohazards include blood and other body fluids or bodily fluids, bacteria, viruses, fungi, molds, animal bites, and human and animal wastes. Okay, in hotel industries, specifically in kitchen and dining area, the food served may easily be contaminated if not properly handled during preparation time. Thus, it can cause foodborne illness or food poisoning. Okay, meat in poultry, fruits and vegetables, and humans and animals are some source of this type of hazards. They are carriers of contaminants that cannot be ignored because of their great impact to human health. Okay, so that is biological hazards or biohazards. Okay, so for example, nagbili ng tinapay si mommy or si daddy at tumagal na ito ng 3 to 5 days, i-check nyo na baka ito ay meron ng amag. Okay, so once na nakakain ka ng amag, maaari itong magkaroon or mag-cause ng health problem sa'yo or illnesses. So make sure na i-check mo muna yung mga kinakain mo or tanungin kung ilang araw na po ba itong pagkain na ito. So huwag mo nang titikman kasi once na natikman mo yan, nagpunta na sa katawan mo, magkakaroon ka na ng illnesses sa body or sa iyong katawan. So that is biological hazards or biohazards. Okay, next is the physical hazards. This include unsafe condition that can cause injury, illness, or even death. It is considered commonly present type of hazards in a workplace. Okay, spills on floor or tripping hazards such as black ice or cord running across the floor is one example that usually happens in the workstations, which results in injury. So when we say physical hazards, meaning it is visibly seen. Okay, physically, nakikita mo siya physically, yung maaaring magdulot sa'yo ng hazard. So when we say physical hazard, nakikita mo na yung hazard na maaaring magdulot sa iyo ng harm, meaning once na nagdulot na or hindi mo napansin, nakita mo pero hindi mo naisip na magkakos sa'yo ng harm yung physical hazard like wires, dire-diretso pa rin. So, anong mangyayari? It can cause you damage on your skin or maaari magkaroon ka ng bruises, gasgas, sugat. So, yung mga effect din ng physical hazards can visibly seen din sa ating katawan. So, that is what we call physical. Nakikita mo physically yung maaaring magdulot sa iyo ng harm or danger. At once na nag-occur na to sa iyong katawan, makikita mo rin sa iyong katawan yung kanyang idinulot na harm like bruises nga or gasgas or maaaring mga hiwa or cuts, and the sugat or wounds. Okay, so that is physical hazards. Next is the ergonomical hazard. This occur when the type of work, body position, and working condition put strain on the body. If the physical hazards can visibly seen outside of our body or in our skin, in ergonomical hazards, this occur inside of our body. Hindi natin nakikita yung idinudulot nito, pero nararamdaman natin yung hazards na nakuha natin. Okay, this could be short or long-term exposure that may be result in moderate or serious injuries. It includes poor lighting, frequent lifting, poor posture, repeated movements, and long exposure with the use of computers. So once na nakatayo ka or nakaupo ka maghapon, then ang upo mo naman is para kang nakukuba. So make sure dapat ang upo mo is naka 90 degree ang upo mo. Okay? Para sure na hindi ka magkakaroon ng body pain or body strain. Hindi nangangalay yung likod mo. At kapag nakatingin ka sa computer, dapat malayo yung harap mo or yung mata mo sa monitor. Or make sure nakasuot ka ng iyong protected glasses. Para yung iyong mata ay protektado para sa ilaw or sa hazards na maaaring idulot ng mga computers. So, kapag naman ikaw ay magbubuhat, make sure na magbubuhat ka, kukuha ka ng box sa sahig, make sure na ang kikilo sa iyo ay yung tuhod, hindi yung likod. So, from that, maiiwasan natin yung pagsakit ng ating likod. Okay, so that is ergonomical hazard. So, some ways to control hazards. So, mga paraan kung paano daw natin maiiwasan ang hazards. Okay, so the first one, of course, use your personal protective equipment. Okay, so don't forget to use your protective equipment. Sabi ko nga, as I discussed it to you last lesson, that wearing protective equipment or PPE must be based on the job requirement. Kung ano daw yung hinihingi ng trabaho or kung ano yung trabaho mo, dapat yun yung suot mong PPE or personal protective equipment for you to work comfortable. So for you to work comfortable. Tama ba? For you to work comfortable and easy to work or easy to move. Okay? So from that, mas madali kang makakakilos, mas madali kang makakagalaw, magkakaroon tayo ng effective and efficient work. Okay, implement engineering control. So number 2, implement engineering control. That includes modifications and process and enclosure or isolation of emission source and ventilation. Okay, implement administrative control. So this involve work schedules, policies, and practices, including education and training, good housekeeping, and emergency preparedness. Number 4, or the last one, is eliminate or remove hazards. Okay, so make sure once you observe a hazard on a workplace, make sure that you eliminate or report it on your manager or any authorities that can remove the hazards. Okay? So from that, may iwasan natin or we can control the hazards in a workplace. So that's all for this week lesson. I hope you understand well. Go back to your module and answer the following activities provided for you. Thank you and have a good day ahead.